Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is Tim Williams. We are here to break down tonight's Wednesday, June 8th MLB slate. We have 10 games to go over and talk about here. A couple games with some possible rain or weather delays, but we won't really know too much until a little bit closer into the evening here. But yeah, let's break it down. We're going to talk a little pitching, hitting, stacks, all that good stuff that we always talk about. We will cover every single detail here, over unders, favorites, and stuff like that. So before I get into it, make sure you like this video. It certainly helps me out a ton. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm not doing these videos every day, but I'm trying to do as many as I can throughout the week. So the only way to know when I'm going to post it is to subscribe to the channel and to follow me over on Twitter at Twitter/Tim Williams DFS. So let's just jump right in here. Cubs taking on the Orioles, 8.5 over under. This is one of those possible rain games here. Cubs are favorited here. Stroman on the mound taking on Lyles. Stroman 6.9K. I think it's a decent price tag here. Not a crazy high upside strikeout guy, 22.7 strikeout rate here. 398 xFIP, which is pretty decent here. 30.5% fly ball rate. So really always keeping the ball in the park. Ground ball pitcher, as we know. On the other side, Lyles, 6K, near 20% strikeout rate here, 4.86 xFIP. Not too crazy about that, but slightly worse against left-handed batters. Cubs will start mostly right-handed bats, so I think that kind of works to his favor. I don't think Lyles will be in play for me on a 10-game slate. Cubs have been able to show that they can hit the ball here. Stroman, 6.9K, I think is interesting in GPPs. As far as the bats go for the Cubs, Morrill, 4.3K, 203 ISO versus right-handed pitching. He had a huge game yesterday. Contreras, 4.8K if you want to pay up for catcher. Happ, 3.7K. He'll probably be batting from the left side against Lyles, which makes him a little bit interesting. In general, there are some interesting pieces here. I'm not totally in love with the spot. The Orioles bullpen has been surprisingly pretty good this season. I think largely in part of that due to that ballpark. So fifth best in ERA there. On the other side with the Orioles, I think Hayes is interesting at 4.2K, Mancini 4.6. But Stroman's not really a guy I really want to attack here. So I might just fade the Orioles. They went off yesterday. So we'll see. Next game we have is the Rangers taking on Cleveland. 7 over under here. I don't know how accurate that is because I think there's maybe a mix up with the who's starting for Cleveland. Possible rain in this one. This might be the worst weather game on here, so keep an eye on that when we get closer to lock. But Dunning on the mound for the Rangers. Bieber possibly on the mound for Cleveland. Dunning 6.7K. Not a terrible price, but not really a great matchup for him. 24% strikeout rate here. Pretty low xFIP, which is nice to see. 52.8% ground ball rate. For DFS purposes, not really a guy I think I'm going to go out and play, but just maybe a guy I'm not going to stack against. So that makes it easy for me. Cleveland in general, just not a lineup that strikes out a ton. Dead last in majors against right-handed pitching when it comes to strikeouts here. So that's something to keep note, even for future contests. Cleveland, Bieber, if he is on the mound, 9.6K, I think is more than reasonable of a price tag for him. 25% strikeout rate here, 3.96 xFIP. The bullpen might be tired yesterday after the doubleheader, so Bieber could be stretched out a little bit longer in this one, have a little bit of a longer leash. Has been excellent against left-handed batters. Rangers in general, 28th in walks against right-handed pitching. So all of these things are aces for Bieber. As far as bats go, I'm going to pass on the Rangers. Ramirez is interesting because of his power against right-handed pitching, but he is at a 6K price tag. And with the rain in this one, this could be just a fade game. So we'll see. Next, we have the Cardinals taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. 7.5 over under here. Cardinals going a little bit with the opener situation. I think Naughton will be opening and then Oviedo will be coming in. So fading on that situation. Rays on the other side have Kluber on the mound, 8.4K. I think the price tag could be fair on like a smaller slate, but it's a 10 gamer. There's some plenty of pitching with some upside here. 22.3% strikeout rate here, 4.36 xFIP. It's a tough matchup against the Cardinals. I don't typically like to take pitchers against St. Louis. The ballpark in general is tough. So I think I'm just going to fade this game. Low over under total, decent bullpens all around. So looking like a fade for me. Next, we have the A's taking on the Braves. Braves are favorited here at home, 9.5 over under here. Koenig making his MLB debut at 5K, taking on Anderson at 6.4K. Koenig, a little bit about him. I don't really understand too much about him, but a quick little blurb right up. 2.21 ERA so far in AAA, 61 Ks in 53 innings. It is a hitter's league, so it is kind of interesting, but horrible matchup for him. Massive over under total here. On the other side, Anderson, I think the price tag is pretty reasonable, taking on an A's team that has a projected 111 ISO against right-handed pitching this year. Projected, I mean projected batting order for tonight. Anderson himself, just under 20% strikeout rate here, so a little bit below average. 10.4% walk rate, 508 xFIP, not great. Struggling against right-handed batters here, but I think he's very much in play. He is in home. He is taking on the A's. Just a low price GPP flyer. I'm not sure if he's going to see some ownership. I understand if he does. Braves very much in play. Acuna, man on fire. Denzel Washington of the day. 423 ISO versus left-handed pitching. So he's very much in play. He's expensive, but he deserves it. Riley, 5.7K. You know, these Braves are priced up for sure, and for good reason. 369 ISO versus lefties. Darno very much in play, 4.7. I think a guy to balance it all out would be a guy like Heredia. 2.1K, had a home run yesterday, 269 ISO versus left-handed pitching. So the Braves as a whole projected lineup has a 239 ISO versus lefties. They're just very good against left-handed pitching so far this season. So there's a lot of unknown with a rookie pitcher. So they really could just feast. We'll see. So yeah, I'm in on the Braves. Next, we have the Yankees taking on the Twins, 8.5 over under here. Yankees favorited. Cortez taking on Chris Archer. Cortez 10.3K. He's just been excellent this season. 29.7% strikeout rate, 372 xFIP. So he's very much in play. Just a guy I probably just don't want to attack. He's just been great. That mustache is looking good. Archer on the other side, 7.3K. Horrible matchup. Price is too high, 18.6% strikeout rate here. Walks too many guys, 10% walk rate. His xFIP is horrible. Just a great spot for Yankees bats, but they are more expensive than I think maybe any team on the slate. Or just up there. Judge 6.3K. He's just been mashing. It seems like he's hitting a home run in every other game. 408 ISO here versus righties. Rizzo 5.5K. Same thing. Very much in play against right-handed pitching. Stanton 5.5 feels expensive, but that could drive his ownership down. 263 ISO versus righties. So yes, the Yankees are pricey as hell, but you could stack them with Hicks at 2.9K. He hasn't been great, but it lowers your overall stack cost. So yeah, they're pricey. On the other side with the Twins, middle of the pack against left-handed pitching, not a really place I want to attack. I'm not going to want to attack Cortez on a 10-game slate. Yankees have a good bullpen, so I'm off the Twins here. Next, we have the Dodgers and the White Sox, 8.5 over under. Dodgers favorited here on the road. Gonsolin taking on Cueto. Gonsolin 9.2K, 25% strikeout rate here. Walks just a touch a little high, 8.7% walk rate here. 4.04 xFIP, which is pretty good. 48% ground ball rate. Not really a guy I want to attack. White Sox projected lineup has a total of 5.6% walk rate, which is horrible. 47% ground ball rate is what they hit into. So really kind of playing into Gonsolin's favor here. And maybe he goes a little bit undervalued at 9.2K. So I am interested here in GPPs. Cueto on the other side, 7.9K. I think he's just too pricey. He has been pitching fairly well in the few starts this year. Just a really tough matchup here. I think Betts is in play at 6.1K. Freeman is probably the cheapest I've seen or close to it at 4.9. Taylor, I like it a lot. He's like my third favorite bat for the Dodgers, 3.9K. So I think the bat's in play. I'm not going to really dive into it. They have cheaper price tags than usual. So Dodgers might have the highest ceiling on the slate so far. White Sox bats, I think I'm going to fade them. Tough matchup against Gonsolin. Tough matchup against their bullpen. Next game here, we have the Phillies taking on the Brew Crew, 8 over under here. Phillies favorited on the road. Nola up against Hauser in this one. Nola 9.4K, 30% strikeout rate here. Excellent. 3.26 xFIP. Really just been pitching excellent this season, 47.3% ground ball rate. So, yeah, the guy I'm not going to really want to attack. Brewers third in home runs, but yet they come in with a high strikeout total against right-handed pitching, 8th overall in strikeouts. So I am in on Nola. I think the price is very fair. On the other side, Hauser, 7.7K, 18% strikeout rate here, just a touch over 10% walk rate. Also another ground ball pitcher here, 48%. So not really a guy I also want to attack, but I think some bats are in play here. Harper at 5.3K, probably the cheapest of the studs in this one at 323 ISO versus right-handed pitching this year. Schwarber 4.2K. I think he's just too cheap for his ceiling. We've seen him hit double dong games in the past. 291 ISO, 15% walk rate against right-handed pitching here. So I think he's very much in play. You could 3-man stack it like with a Hoskins or a Castellanos. I think they're reasonably priced. I think Harper and Schwarber make just for better one-offs or a 2-man stack. Brewers have a pretty decent bullpen, so that is worth noting. On the other side, it's a 10-game slate. I'm not really looking to attack Aaron Nola in this one, so off the Brewers here. Next, we have the Red Sox taking on the Angels. Red Sox here favorited 8.5 over under. Evaldi taking on Detmers. Evaldi 8.8K. I think that's a very reasonable price on him. 26% strikeout rate here, 3.79 xFIP on the season. He has no Mike Trout to face. Angels are third overall in strikeouts against right-handed pitching. They just fired their manager. This is just a hot mess that I hope Evaldi just takes advantage of. We've seen Evaldi give up home runs in the past. But I think the strikeout upside is there. I think the price is fine. Angels, Detmers on the mound, 7.4K. That's a crazy price tag. Just not a good pitcher in a really bad matchup. 5.38 xFIP, very attackable. Red Sox 5th in OPS versus left-handed pitching this season. Some guys are pricey. I do like Story at 5'3", 350 ISO against left-handed pitching. Hernandez, lefty masher, 4-1, probably leading off 250 ISO there against lefties. Devers as well, 5.3K. I think he has massive upside. You can easily make a 5-man stack if you just take, Plawecki at catcher, or, you throw in just one of those cheap 7, 8, 9 guys. So I do think the Red Sox are in play. Bobby Dahlbeck, for an example, who has some upside against lefties. On the other side, like we mentioned, Evaldi can give up a home run here or there. I don't mind getting to maybe Max Stassi and some GPPs if I just needed like a one-off catcher at 3.9K if he is starting. 225 ISO against right-handed pitching this season. Next, we have the Mets and the Padres. Padres favorited here at home, 7 over under here, real low over under here. Nice pitching matchup. Bassett taking on Manaea. Bassett 8.2K, 25% strikeout rate here, 7.7% walk rate, 441 xFIP. Struggling a bit more to left-handed batters this season, but I do think he is an interesting play. However, decent price tag here. On the other side, Manaea 9K. I think he's in play as well. 27% strikeout rate, 8.4% walk rate, 417 xFIP. Also, yeah, Mets aren't going to be having Alonso in there. He had some x-rays done. It looks like they are negative. So maybe he's in there. Maybe he's available to pinch hit. I just don't know. But there's no Pete Alonso. So that kind of waters down the Mets lineup just a little bit, just a touch. They are pretty good. I don't mind Escobar here at 3.1K. I think he's going to go so low owned, and probably for good reason, but 333 ISO versus lefties this season. Interesting low owned GPP flyer there with some power upside. Maybe a late night hammer type of sitch. On the other side with the Padres, Profar 3.5K. I don't love the price on him, but he has been hitting fairly well. He is taking walks. Interesting matchup against Bassett, but I'm probably just going to stay away from bats aside from maybe Escobar if I'm doing some 20 entry GPP type stuff. But I am interested in the pitching here. So plenty of decent pitching options on the slate, no doubt about it. And then the last game here, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Follow me on Twitter at Tim Williams DFS. And last one on the slate, 9 over under here. Giants favorited, Rockies visiting Senzatella taking on Wood. Senzatella 5.4K, 8.5% strikeout rate here. Just not a good pitcher. Rockies have also the second worst bullpen ERA, so we're probably going to see some ownership on the Giants bats, and probably for good reason. Wood on the other side, 8.6K. We'll talk about it here. 23.7% strikeout rate here. I think that's fine. Just a ground ball pitcher, 48% ground ball rate, 377 xFIP. So the underlying stats are there. The Giants in general, aside from Wood, 25th in bullpen ERA, which is not good. I feel comfortable fading Wood in this position. Rockies bats, they're second in OPS versus left-handers this year. I understand maybe you don't want to play Colorado or you feel uncomfortable playing Colorado, but I could probably fade Wood here and just get to the other pitching spots that are on the slate. There's plenty of them. However, that being said, I think maybe the Rockies are an interesting just flyer here for a stack. Rogers 4.2K, 233 ISO versus lefties. Crone 4.9. He has power upside, 278 ISO versus lefties. Connor Joe leading off at 4.4. There's some other pieces here. I think they're just kind of a pesky team. They don't have a ton of power, so maybe a 5-man stack is out of the question here, but I wouldn't mind a couple one-offs or a 3-man stack and one of these deep GPPs. And then on the other side, we're going to see some ownership here. Jock Peterson, 5.6K. The price tag is a little egregious, but 328 ISO there versus right-handed pitching. Longoria, 4.7, probably goes lower owned in a stack. Flores, 5.1. I think they're definitely in play, but yes, you can see some ownership. So that is it. I hope this video helped you. Keep an eye on some of those weather games that we talked about that are going to be early on in the slate. So you should get that news before lock, but that'll do it. Best of luck in your contest today. Peace out.